Is this free agent exactly who the Red Sox are looking for offensively? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and it's clear the Red Sox need starting pitching, right? That has been well established in both Red Sox space and in Major League Baseball space in general. But one thing the Red Sox also really need going into 2024 is a right-handed power bat. And to be honest with you, looking at a lot of the free agent class, there really isn't anyone who's a perfect fit with this Red Sox team, but there are a couple of guys who could be really close. And today we're going to be taking a look at one of them who could make a ton of sense for the Red Sox and alleviate a lot of the problems that they could possibly have from the right side in 2024. So what we're doing in today's video is we're breaking down this free agent. We're talking about why he may make sense for the Red Sox, why he may not make sense for the Red Sox. We're going to be talking about what his contract could possibly look like and if that makes sense for the Red Sox. And we're ultimately going to try and decide if this is someone we want the Red Sox to target this offseason or if this is someone we want the Red Sox to stay away from. But before we get into that, do me a favor. If you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Don't forget, we are still doing Movember. We are already past halfway to our goal of $500. If you would like to donate and help bring mental health awareness to men both nationwide and worldwide, the link will be in the comment section down below. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. The player we are going over today is a guy by the name of Teoscar Hernandez, who you may remember from his days with the Blue Jays, but in 2023, he had a bit of an underwhelming season as the right fielder for the Seattle Mariners. In 2023, he finished with a .258 average, a .305 on base percentage, and a .435 slug, good for a .741 OPS, the second lowest of his career, which led to a .106 OPS plus, or about 6% above league average production at the plate compared to the average hitter in baseball. He also had 26 home runs and 29 doubles. So honestly, again, not a terrible season offensively for Teoscar Hernandez, but it was a bit underwhelming. Those power numbers were still there, but when you compare it over the last couple of years, this was definitely a bit of a regression because with the Blue Jays in 2020 to 2022, Teoscar Hernandez really hit his stride. He hit in that time span a .283 average with a .333 on base percentage and a .519 slug with 73 home runs, 71 doubles, and a .133 OPS plus, or about 33% above league average production. So the immediate concern here is, why did Teoscar Hernandez regress? Well, the answer may be as simple as a venue, because when you take a look at his splits, what he looked like at home in his first year with Seattle, it doesn't look very good. At home, T-Mobile Park with Seattle, he had just a 71 OPS plus with 12 home runs. On the road, though, this season, Teoscar had a .128 OPS plus with 14 home runs. So it may not have been that Teoscar Hernandez is regressing as he gets older. It may simply have been the fact that Teoscar Hernandez did not really like hitting at T-Mobile Park. Maybe he didn't like the batter's eye, maybe he didn't like the conditions, whatever it was. It looks like Teoscar Hernandez did much better statistically on the road this season than he did at home, which is good news for the Red Sox, right? It's an explanation as to why Teoscar regressed so much between 22 and 2023. It's also really good news for the Red Sox because for the most part, righties come into the Boston Red Sox and usually perform better than they would outside of Fenway because of that wall, right? Fenway Park is sort of made for a right-handed hitter's playground, really a hitter's playground in general, but right-handers specifically, pull right-handers, do really well at Fenway Park, and Teoscar himself has some experience with that. Throughout his career, Teoscar Hernandez has killed the Red Sox in Fenway. In 45 games, he has 14 home runs, a .282 average, and a .134 OPS plus. So while his last 2020 to 2022 seasons were impressive, he was even more impressive at Fenway, and it's because he's a pull hitter with power, right? That green monster tends to really love those type of guys, and Teoscar Hernandez fits that mold perfectly. So when you're looking at Teoscar Hernandez offensively, his 20 2023 season doesn't really get you super excited. Those home runs were there, but nothing really else. But the fact that he did play so well outside of T-Mobile Park, and the fact that he has killed the Red Sox at home at Fenway should get people a little bit excited, right? It means that there's a possibility that if the Red Sox pick him up and he plays most of his games at Fenway Park, being that pull power hitter, he could really add to those numbers and get back closer or even to those numbers he was putting up between 2020 and 2022. But outside of just offensively, Teoscar Hernandez had one of the better seasons of his entire career defensively in 2023. In 2023, Teoscar Hernandez played mostly right field for the Seattle Mariners. He did play a couple of games in left field and did have a couple of games at DH, but overwhelmingly he played right field. Now, for the most part, throughout Teoscar's career, he's been a well below average defender. In fact, he's been a pretty poor defender, but this season he had a positive defensive run saved at 1. He ended up dead even with outs above average at 0, and he ended up above average in terms of run fielding value with 2. This was one of the better seasons of his career. Now, you combine that with a bit of speed, and you combine that with a really strong arm, Teoscar Hernandez may not be able to win some gold gloves for the Red Sox. He may not even be a great defender or a good defender in the outfield, but if he continues to play the way he played this year defensively, he's not going to be a liability in the outfield for the Red Sox. He's not going to be someone who you're going to be worrying about if you stick him in left field. Maybe right field at home could be a bit of an issue, but he could play both left and right field pretty well, left field at home, right field away, and give the Red Sox some sort of value in the outfield. He's not an absolute waste of space on the field either, so that's a good thing too. So when you're looking at it statistically, why the Red Sox may want to target a guy like Teoscar Hernandez, it makes a lot of sense, right? Teoscar has that power bat. He had a little bit of an underwhelming 2023, but has a lot of potential to get back to where he was in 2022. And defensively, statistically, he's gotten better, which is a really great sign. Combine that with speed and a really nice arm, that could be a really positive thing for Teoscar. But what would a contract for Teoscar Hernandez look like? How much would it cost to get him here? And how would he fit in with this Red Sox team to ultimately figure out if this is someone the Red Sox should look at? When it comes to what the value of a contract for Teoscar Hernandez could be with the Red Sox, there's a bit of a range in values. According to MLB trade rumors, he's projected to make around 4 years, $80 million, which would be about $20 million a year. But according to Spot Track, he's projected to make about $16.5 million a year. So if we sort of split that down the middle, we say, okay, what's the median there? We're talking around $18 million a year, right? Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but $18 million a year would be sort of the middle of those projections. And to me, that's sort of fair value, right? Teoscar Hernandez did not have the best year offensively, but he had a decent year defensively, and that potential offensively is there. He's 31 years old, which may seem like he's a little bit older than you would like, giving out an $80 million contract, but compared to a lot of the free agents on the open market, that's not really that old, right? And for the Red Sox, a contract that looks something like 3 years with a club option at the end for $18 million a year for Teoscar Hernandez should be totally doable, right? 3 years, $54 million with the option to go 4 years, $72 million feels like something the Red Sox would be totally capable of doing, and it might make sense. But there's a very specific situation where Teoscar Hernandez makes sense for the Boston Red Sox, because while his bat would be a perfect solution to the Red Sox problem, where he plays on the field may just generate more. When you're looking at the outfield for the Red Sox, it is the most crowded position on this current team. The only situation where it really works to bring Teoscar Hernandez in would be if they traded one of their outfielders away. Now, obviously, most people are assuming that that outfielder that gets traded will be Alex Verdugo, but it doesn't have to be. In order to bring Teoscar in and really utilize his value in that lineup every single day or as many days as possible, you're going to have to trade someone away. After that, right, it gets a little bit more tricky because now you still have a little bit of a logjam, but you've got some options. If Teoscar comes in and is sort of your primary platoon DH, where some days he's playing on the field and left field, sort of minimizing his ability to make mistakes defensively, while Massa plays DH and then flip-flopping them, or even if they're away, flip-flopping him with Wilyer Abreu or whoever's going to be manning right field for the Red Sox next year, is really the only way you can make Teoscar work. work. He probably isn't the type of guy who's going to be an everyday DH, especially at the age of 31, coming off of a season where he had his best defensive season in his career. He's going to want to play the field more and really up his value. But if you can manage to get him here and be a part-time DH, this could be a bit of a perfect fit, right? Because the Red Sox need that DH. They need someone with right-handed power, and Craig Breslow and Alex Cora have both been very open about wanting that versatility. Teoscar Hernandez gives you a little bit of that because he's not a guy who can only play 30, 40 games on the field. He could play 80, 70, 60, 100 games on the field and still give you good enough production at the plate to make that worth it. So in my opinion, when we're looking at the actual fit of Teoscar Hernandez outside of his statistics, it still makes a little bit of sense. You just got to have there just needs to be a little bit of work to get there, which would be, again, trading someone away to make room for Teoscar, which I think most people, including myself, assume that there's going to be a trade of an outfielder at some point this offseason. My money would be on Doogie, but it doesn't have to be. And then platooning Teoscar Hernandez with a Masataka Yoshida, with a Wilyer Abreu, with a Ceddanne Rafaela, someone out there where you can flip-flop those guys into a DH role every other day and really maximize your lineup when you need it. I think this could be a smart move. So when you're sort of putting the pieces all together to try and figure out whether or not the Red Sox should target Teoscar Hernandez, you first take a look at the value of his contract. And it is a bit high. It's certainly not a cheap contract by any means, but at the same time too, especially with the years Teoscar Hernandez is demanding, it's not exactly going to break the bank. Again, he's 31 years old. A 3-4 year contract is going to take you to his age 34, 35 season, which again, compared to a lot of the free agents on this open market, that's a pretty good value for what you are going to get. He solves a big problem for the Red Sox going into 2024, which is who's going to be their big power right-handed bat, and he's a guy who could bring some versatility to that DH position, which would allow Alex Cora to fill that DH role with multiple players on this team and not just one. So all four of those things are something the Red Sox have been looking for, and honestly, I'd be kind of surprised if we didn't see any rumblings about the Red Sox being interested in Teoscar Hernandez, because again, I genuinely think this could be a smart move for the Boston Red Sox, but that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think? Is this someone you're interested in? Is this someone you want the Red Sox to target? Are you on the other end? This is someone you want the Red Sox to avoid? What are your thoughts on Teoscar Hernandez coming to Boston in the comment section down below? As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, like I said at the beginning, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Don't forget about Movember, still going on till the end of the month. Click the link in the comments below to donate today. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.